Hi, everyone. This is the Inbound Marketing Team biweekly check-in. It's April 22nd, and we are going through our agenda, which starts with a moment of insight, which Tyler has to share with us. So take it away, Tyler.
Yeah, Michael, I actually credit this to you. You sent me a podcast to listen to last week in our one-on-one, and I did. And I liked what the guests had to say for the most part. I thought it was interesting. And it was like a confluence of things because I think that Friday or that Thursday, or maybe the one before, we did our PowerPoint party and I did a presentation on chess. And I made an offhanded comment about being bad at it. And a lot of the things in the podcast sounded like the things that people say on the chess podcasts about how to get better at chess. And it was kind of just it's one of those things where it's you hear it over and over again about learning how to learn. And so the woman, I forget her name, the guest wrote this book. It's like a pop science book people might have heard of, A Mind for Numbers. And it's full of all these things about how brains learn and how to get better at things, particularly science and math. But a lot of it has to do with pattern matching and the way that you do what is it? Concentrated practice, deliberate practice, right? And so after my presentation on chess, and then listening to that, I picked up the book. It was like $10 on Kindle, and I read the book, and I was I'm gonna I've always just been okay with my standings in chess, and I was I'm gonna do some deliberate practice, and I've seen some significant like only the numbers are low, but the rate of improvement has been really interesting. And because chess is a lot of pattern matching in the way that um, abstract math is too. So a lot of those techniques are working really well. So my moment of insight is just that you're probably better at learning than you think you are. If you don't think you're good at it. If you don't think you're good at math or abstract sciences or data stuff, I think you probably, most people, I think most average people have more more potential to learn it than they think they do. And there's some deliberate practice techniques where you just look at the thing and be bad at it and accept that you're bad at it, and then just keep it in your brain and then continue to come back to it with spaced repetition, and eventually your brain does the thing that brains do and solidifies some information. And it's really interesting, and my chess rating is improving dramatically with these techniques. So it's been really cool. So listen to the podcast, because that was I'd heard of this book before and skipped it. Listen to the podcast. I was okay, I'll buy the book, and then I read most of the book and it was good.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. That's so cool. I think I've actually have a similar theory in that life is just pattern matching. Intelligence is matching the amount of patterns you can match. Creativity is adding another level of more patterns that you can match that other less creative people wouldn't recognize. And then experience is the speed to which you can match patterns. We're pretty simple, complicated beings. That makes sense. Anyway, rant over. Niall, kick off with the stats.
Yeah, no problem. Just share my screen. And so to date, we are currently 89.77% through the quarter. And our overall goal is 20% year-over-year website traffic growth. So in that respect, we are plus 6.41% in users. Page user up 18.8% year-over-year. In inbound inquiry and trials, quarter to date, we are at 36,889, and this month to date is 9,689. And our attainment pace is at 110.45%, and pace overall is 123.3%. So back to Michael.
Actually, I had a question. I hadn't a chance to write it down. The website traffic at risk, are you, and you might not have this answer at hand, so apologies. Are we seeing that that's we're at risk consistently as time goes on, it's still the same amount? Or are we eating into that a bit, or is it growing?
So it should grow over time as we pace through the year. I'll have to reassess that just to check if it's up to date. But as you see, the page views are on pace with the yearly growth. It's the users are slightly below, I suppose, what we would be attaining to get. But hopefully, traction as the increase, etc., grow over time. We should get closer and closer to the target.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so show and tell. If this is your first time watching this, what we like to do is share the work that we've worked on over the last couple of weeks. Sharing your screen is always helpful, but not mandatory. It can be a little tricky. And remember, nice reminder, we're all doing this together with multiple contributors. So if someone was a key contributor, please give them a shout out. So Niall, you've got the first one here.
Yeah, share my screen again. So this week I was prepping the page 2 optimization for keyword lists. So basically what that is we're growing keywords so much and pushing them up onto page 1 positioning. We have a huge backlog of pages that are keywords that are currently on page 2. So there's an issue open for that. And I just did a breakdown of the available opportunities for this. So if this loads up, so this is just across each folder section. So it's the number of URLs within each page that has a volume of page 2 opportunity or keywords on it, and the number of keywords and the traffic opportunities. So obviously the issue with this is the volume of application. We will be executing a lot of this internally in the search team, but if people across teams who are in charge of content or folders want to jump in, this would be great. So just to give a breakdown of the opportunities, if we were to get just 1% of the overall opportunities available across the folders, we could be seeing a monthly increase of over 11,000 users, and that increases obviously all the way up. I've just graphed it out to 10 to just give the idea. So there's an issue open there. Basically just involves optimizing pages with secondary terms, so we can include them on as long as it's just using natural language. But if anyone has any interest in jumping into that with us, I've already discussed with the blog team and some of the content team, but just reach out and tag in the issue, and happy just to show you how it works and just start rolling out across folder for a bigger impact.
Hey, Niall, is there a possibility to add a column to that of which of those opportunities is driving like either conversion or one of our metrics too? Because I think that would be an interesting story to tell to help. Like if we're just looking at making more users come, it would be good to know like, well, where can more users go, and where would we send them that would have the best effect on our inquiries and page views metric? That I think that would be like the priority.
Yeah, so it's not on that one, but I have it done on the main folder. Is each one of those columns or folders, I've just tagged it per buyer journey stage. So not all of them fit into that, but obviously the pricing page, which is obviously transactional, and top of the funnel, so topics, blog, and then break it down towards consideration. So each one of them are tagged. So what I was thinking is, if we apply first to those, because they're the ones that are feeding right into our buyer journey, which focus on funneling traffic towards conversion. So it's something like that's the kind of the way I was looking at it. But yeah, happy to look at breaking it out further to kind of break it down if we can get more granular on it, so we can focus the impact, because obviously the volume of work is so large that if we can highlight where we need to do it, yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
So to Sanmi.
Oh, thank you, Neil. So what I'm going to be discussing about is about the install page. So this sounds like a moment of insight of something that I picked up. This issue was created by Todd. So it's about our install GitLab page. This is how it used to be. I'm using a Wayback Machine right now to show us the previous version. And what I learned from here is something I could describe as mind over what I see. In my mind, I expect that, oh, when you get to this page, you already know what to do. You want to install GitLab, then just scroll down and go to wherever you want to go to. Then right now, it looks as if we are confusing people. We call it install self-managed GitLab, and we are telling the customers to try it for 30 days. So am I going to try a free platform for 30 days? What are we actually discussing here? So when Todd raised this issue, then I came up with another way of separating the two things. So install GitLab, try GitLab Ultimate for 30 days, get free trial. That's if you want to do the Ultimate plan. And if you want to do the self-managed one, just go into this section. So we can separate the two different tiers from each other. But from the previous version, I never thought it was a big deal until I started thinking in a very new perspective, like, oh, if I'm in GitLab, it's a different thing. If I'm a customer, it's a different thing. We need to separate the two. So that's just what happened on this page that I just love to share. And it's a very big learning curve for me, and I really love that. And thanks to everybody who participated on this project. That's it from me. The next person is Lauren.
Hello. So this last 2 weeks, we added back the click to tweet component on our blog posts. So you click on it and then it puts the text in there, the author and a link, and puts it directly on Twitter. And it's got this cool little hover effect. So just wanted to show that. And I will pass it over to Tina.
Thanks, Lauren. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Am I sharing the right screen? So I created a customer journey map that looks at the top pages feeding free trials. These insights come from a few places. They come from some analyzing some data that Niall pulled. There's a flow chart, a visual of some of that data if you click on this link here. This is basically a visual representation of your spreadsheet, Niall. A lot of these insights also come from the user testing sessions that Jess led. So I watched all those videos, thought a lot about them. We also ran some heat mapping, and obviously some of this comes from Instinct. So I think that this will be a useful tool to help support some of the body of work that's coming our way next quarter. And next step for this is I'll be creating a sort of walkthrough video and some documentation to walk through some of the insights. That's it. I think next is Jess.
Thanks, let me share. So I did some usability testing research targeting the free trial page, but since it's such a small page, we also did some what I'm calling bonus research. So we started them on the homepage and then brought them to the free trial page and kind of got feedback on both for half of the test, and the other half from the product page, which also like I call it the DevOps page, kind of goes through everything that we do. And again, got feedback on both. And if you want to, you can go and watch the individual sessions, but I also have a highlight reel, which is also tagged in the doc from today. And it just kind of gives the feedback on the free trial page. I haven't gone through all the homepage and DevOps feedback yet. I'll save that for later, but it'll set us up really nicely for next quarter. I also put all my observations in here if you just want to kind of like read it real quick, how we can improve that free trial page. And that's what I'm working on now. And I think Laura is next.
Yeah, I'll share as well. So this iteration, we did some more work on the events template for slippers. So this is the partners page, which we now have the ability to scale down. Each of these images gets 10% smaller as they get to a lower tier. So that's a nice little improvement. And we added the countdown also, which this is actually counting down to commit, 102 days away. So those will be added to the master template and eventually be live. And I think next is Bree.
I just wanted to add a few links in here for recently published case studies that I haven't had a chance to put on the landing page with the logos. So HackerOne, Siemens, Kiwi, Credit Agricole. There are two others that were published this quarter, and I'm going to find the links and add them in here, but just so the logos are available to use too, and they should be in that logo spreadsheet that I can add in here too. I'm leading shout outs. So this section is for anyone who wants to contribute to express gratitude within our team or across the company, not the country. And I think Lauren is up first.
Yeah, I want to shout out to Hannah. He's crushing it with patching up our internal links on the website and fixing. We have some redirect loops, and he's shipping a ton of MRs to go and help fix all of that up. So shout out to Hannah. Michael, you're up.
Yeah, Hannah, you're awesome. Totally agree with that. I've got a few, so buckle up. Jess, Ash, Brandon, rolling with Sid's feedback on the pricing page iteration. The thing that impressed me the most was just not feeling like every comment was a direction and taking time to critically think through what was being asked of us and pushing back when appropriate. So amazing. And then, yeah, Brandon just sitting there ready to act and be kind, knowing that things are moving and we're all working together on pushing the delivery date, because it's always the engineer that gets the short end of the stick. Brandon, did you want to speak to your second point there?
Yeah, and I just wanted to say thanks to Ash and Jess for putting a lot of thought and effort into the pricing page in this latest iteration. I know we've been doing a lot of iterations, but this one feels even tighter than ever in terms of helping the users understand what they're getting. So it's good. It's great to see that progress and getting to a good place. And you know, it's the result of everyone putting so much thought and effort into it. So appreciate that.
Awesome. I said it in the marketing and tactics meetings, but I'll say it again. Lauren, totally awesome job leading the group conversation. Just the way that you led, but also threw it to the right people on our team to speak was just so collaborative and like so us. I loved it. It was so good. Stephen, amazing work consulting with so many different people on the kind of decision tree that we're working on, which we're close to having something to share. So I apologize. This probably doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people yet, but it will. But a lot of different opinions, a lot of emotions and beliefs, and just the way that you've been kind and listened and taken on what people are saying and translated that into something actionable has been awesome. Tina, you're doing such amazing work with what you shared earlier in the user journey. That's like just weirdo work that's really, really hard, that makes no sense, but then you can kind of like take that piece of coal and then squish it into a diamond, and that diamond is going to keep giving value to us over at least the next 3 quarters, and other groups are going to see it. Like the people like Jackie Gragnola is someone who I think of, and they're just going to be like, you are the savior. It's awesome. So good. Brandon, I said it before, I'll say it again, the amount you're stepping up into a leadership role on our team, focusing on helping us get our delivery done, and everything from triage to knowing where people are and, you know, how they're feeling and what people can take on. It's not unnoticed, and I just value your collaboration so much. Val's not on the call. I can read it. Sarah, I'm uniquely positioned to understand how challenging it can be to edit the blog. Kudos for dealing with some of the tricky posts and contributions lately while keeping your cool and your professional demeanor. Great job. I agree. Sarah, you're up.
So Sanmi, I hope you don't mind I cut you in line, because my shout out is to Val for helping me with the blog. She's been great despite the fact that, you know, she's moved off the blog, but she's stepped in to help and has been, you know, helping me keep the lights on basically. And also a shout out to Bree for being so understanding as we, you know, doggy paddle through this fire hose of content and whatnot. So I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for your patience and understanding.
Well, thank you. Yeah, my next shout out goes to Avi for collaborating with me on Sleepers UI. Someone I love collaboration so much, because sometimes I feel I'm crazy, so I want a partner in crime. So he came on board and we were both crazy together. I really love that. And thanks to Tina for reaching out last week after our PowerPoint party. Yeah, my face may look like I'm a very tough guy, but deep inside, sometimes I act like a puppy. So she reached out and she was like, oh, Sammy, I'm gonna miss you. Oh my goodness, that meant the whole day to me. I really love that. Thank you so much. You know, I really appreciate that. Then a lot of shout out to Brandon and Lauren. Both of them were going back and forth on one of my MRs, and I was just chilling and smiling, causing a lot of trouble on my side, and they were going back and forth. I love this. So I really want to say thank you for taking out your time to pay attention to a lot of details. And to every other person that I'm not mentioning right now, you feel you are so special to me, and I want to say thank you. Shout out to everybody. And Laura, you're next.
It's tough to follow. Yeah, I also I want to shout out Lauren and Tyler. They've been doing some really amazing work putting all the pieces together. A lot of us have been contributing to the Slippers event page, but they are putting all of our different ideas together, which is a big task, and all being overseen by Tina. So it's very invaluable. Getting to kind of watch that without having to like deal with it is the best position to be in. Very, very, very cool. Next up is Michael.
Yeah, Niall, the amount of times I hear, Niall got me this, or Niall helped me this, or even I need to talk to Niall for that, is considerable. There are a few of those I need to talk to Niall for that, I think, well, you've got access to Google Analytics, so I can work with you on getting some of those off your plate. But I also wanted to say I hear that a lot, and I see you, and I really appreciate all the help you're giving everybody. We got Tina, who want to vocalize your point?
Sure, just the +1. Thanks for the hand holding. As Stephen said, I think last time we mentioned your support. You're always like, what in the world did I just ask for? What am I looking at? So, and you're always just willing to jump on a call, and that's awesome. Thanks.
Looks like I have the next one. So I just want to say thanks to everyone for being patient and collaborative while working on localization. Bree, Jillian, Sarah, Laura, and Michael. It's great to see that we're all in this together and thinking of long-term strategies, not just the short term. I'm a big fan of long-term thinking, so I really appreciate that. And this is a large, difficult project that we're slowly iterating towards, and it's those first steps that are the hardest. So thanks for that.
I think I got the next one. I wanted to shout out Sam. I'm not really sure how to say his last name. Awayzik, maybe.
Sam A.
Say it. What?
Sam A is what I go with.
Sam A.
Yeah.
Yes, Sam A. He has been incredibly helpful this week, just kind of getting me up to speed on the differences between our free trial options and what's feasible and not feasible going forward. And I've had many follow-up questions, and he's always just right there to answer them, and I really appreciate it.
Awesome. I wanted to give a shout out to Laura. Yet again, a last minute request coming at you from Jessica Reeder, who I'm a big fan of Jessica. So she gets a pass for a last minute request because I know they're so busy as well. But I appreciate you taking that on and being agile. And also all of the, I didn't write this down, but like all the MR review you're doing, it's not unnoticed. And I'm just going to say back to the team, the next two last minute requests do not go to Laura, and because let's spread that around a little bit, because I think it can be, one person can all of a sudden be like, oh, this person's available, but it's because they've been on a string of that. So let's get Laura into some deep work, and then let's another one of us take on the inevitable sort of sidewinder. But thank you for being so open to that. And yeah, to close, Sammy mentioned it. I forgot that these are bi-weekly. So I think this is the last one of these Sammy will be a part of. His contract has come to an end. Budget reasons, we can't get it extended. But Sammy, I really appreciate you as a person, like first and foremost. I think you're just who you are and how you like present yourself and how you go about your life is just so awesome. I've really gotten to know you decently as a great person, and all of the ways that you've touched everybody in our team has been noticed. And I'm going to miss you, but this is just a job and life is long, and I look forward to continuing our relationship. So thank you for your contributions.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Thanks to everybody. I don't know what to say. All I can say is thank you, and I'm going to miss everybody a lot. Yeah. But it's never goodbye. It's just see you next time.
That's perfect. Let's end it there. I don't like goodbyes either. So thanks everyone. Hope we have a good Thursday and Friday, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.